Bam, we're live. Welcome to the show. Hey, how many podcasts do you think you've done?
I've done?
Yeah.
Maybe like 4.
Oh, really? That's it? Just 4?
I mean, like on this show or like the ones we do for Sentinel?
No, just in general, just in total in your podcasting career. How many times have
Oh,
you gone live?
probably 10.
10. Damn, you got comfortable quick. Corey, what's up, dude? How come there's only one comment? What's going on? Something weird's going on with StreamYard today. Where the fuck is JR and Caleb and John?
Got a couple now. If you're watching,
can you guys hear us?
comment so
Good.
we can stop freaking out.
Dude, Grant, you guys had Ty Jenkins on the show and Pool Boy. Shit was who else was on there? Or someone else. That shit was fuck. I gotta get Ty Jenkins on my show. Is he 18 yet? I don't like to have anyone on who's not 18. Is he 18?
I don't. Yeah, he should be now.
Yeah, that was cool. He's cool. He's cool as shit. Okay, this is gonna be quick, dirty, nasty. Oh, he is a good friend. Well, yeah, he's cool as shit. I met him at the games with his coach. What's her name? Jessica Griffith or something?
Yeah, Jessica Capoy now, I think, is her married name.
Yeah, that was cool. He's great.
She likes to preach about how CrossFit is bad on her Instagram, though.
Oh, well, everyone's got a little sense. She could be cool and still be semi-retarded.
Oh, I saw something today that I wanted to ask you about, but maybe I'll ask you when we're not live.
Dude, I did the funniest thing.
It's about a CrossFit personality.
Oh, really? Is it?
It's about an athlete who posted some liberal stuff, but
dude, I wrecked shop on a couple of my friends today. Oh man, I almost feel bad. Hey, what's up, JR?
Yo.
Hey, Caleb had pulled up competitors, like a page where I could just see the competitors. Oh, okay, here it is. This is a nice page. All right, look at this. And we're just going to do the women today. Just the honeys. Just the sugar mamas. The gladiatoras. Is gladiator gender specific word? How do you say gladiator in Spanish? Anyone? Gladiatora? Gladiator.
Gladiatora.
Yeah, I like that. JR? Would you like to take a step? Are you Puerto Rican, JR?
No say.
What? You think he's too tall?
No, that's a very legit assumption. No, my grandmother is from Colombia.
Oh, okay. So in Puerto Ricans are basically just Mexicans that are on the more Asian spectrum. What are Puerto Ricans, Bryson? You know what Puerto Ricans are? What made them?
I think your description fits it pretty well. Like, you know what you're talking about when you describe it, like
that. All right. Because like you know, like the Labradoodle is like a doodle and a Labrador,
right?
Or like a Mexican's like a native indigenous person to South America and Spaniards.
So they're the Labradoodles of the world.
I mean, they're just a recent ethnicity that, you know, they're just newer. Like 300 years ago, there was no such thing as a Mexican. Now we got them, the poster child for Catholicism. They've climbed up high quickly. Gladiadora. Isn't that trippy? What a great time to live in. Before, like 300 years ago, there were no Mexicans. 400 years ago, nothing. Nada. Nada. Black and Spanish mixed. Oh, that's what Puerto Rican is? I thought that's what Dominican was. I thought Dominican was more...
I would say that's Dominican.
How about that? I never even thought of that. They got a whole ethnicity that's... wow. Whole ethnicities is just white and black people mixed. Dominican. That's cool. Oh, we come from European ancestry. Oh, that's awesome that you're Puerto Rican. Is this a girl or a boy?
Definitely a dude.
That's a shame. All right. What the fuck? The U.S. was Mexico. Oh, fair enough. I mean, I ain't arguing that. Call it like you want. Okay. Here are the athletes. I don't know if they're in any particular order. Are they in any particular order on this? Do you see any
They're
patterns?
probably by Rogue's rankings because Rogue has their own like point system.
Okay, that's fair. From left to right and then left to right. So Tia would be 1, Ariel would be 5, Alex would be 6, Emily would be 10. Does that look right to you, JR? You
Yeah,
game with that?
I think so too. Yep.
Okay, and then let me pull up the. I have no. You got to bear with me today. I have Rogue Invitational. The workouts, schedule, competitors. I have a fun game for you guys in the beginning. You're gonna like this. John's gonna be really bummed he missed out on this one. Leaderboard schedule. I don't see events as one of the tabs. Rogue
If you go to the
schedule.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll play it off the schedule. Okay, the first game we're going to play before we get started, we're going to go through all the events. We're going to do top 3 for all of them. It's going to be pretty easy, painless, quick, down and dirty. But before we do that, JR's going to hate this game. I just realized JR's going to.
Well, I was just going to say, if you said John was going to love it, I'm probably going to loathe it.
You are going to hate it because it's going to make you too vulnerable. You're not a man of who likes to show a lot of vulnerability on the podcast. Oh, by the way, for BSI, I was looking at. Are you coming to BSI, JR? You think 11th and 12th?
Yeah, I'm planning on it.
Okay, I'm getting a fat, crazy Airbnb, VRBO, Airbnb, whatever the thing is. I'm getting a crazy one for us in Scottsdale, right by the house. Just nuts. Pool, pickleball court.
Nice.
And when I say I'm getting it, Greg's getting it. Okay.
Yeah.
Sergino, Colombia. Nice to see you, buddy. Nice to see you, dude. Okay. Accept my premise that there's levels to this shit. Okay? And that there's tiers. Are you guys comfortable with 3 or 4 tiers if we were going to break these athletes up into tiers?
4.
4 tiers. And Bryson, are you okay with 4 tiers?
I like that. Yeah.
And do you say, would you also say, would the men have 4 tiers or would they have 3 tiers?
I think the men would still have 4.
Okay, so because you guys probably figured out what I was leading on is that, do the women need 4 tiers because of Tia?
No, because I think in a lot of these events, I think in Rogue's events in general, I think someone like Laura can be the clear favorite even over Tia on specific workouts.
Okay. So I want to put these ladies in tiers. Like to judge the fuck out of them. Okay, so let's do the very top tier. We'll just throw Tia in there, right?
Yeah.
Is Laura? So you don't think Tia's in a tier all by herself?
I think that she could be, but I think if we're going off 4 tiers, I think her and Laura are together. Does that make sense? Like if you wanted to really break it down, you could say that there's, as many tiers as there are people, because they're obviously someone's better than the next person down. But if you want to say 4 tiers, I think Tia and Laura go in the same category.
John, you think if Laura was at the games, Tia still would have won them?
You call me John now?
Oh, sorry, Mr. Howell.
No, I don't think. I mean, I think Tia was going to win regardless. So I guess when you put it like that, just in general, Tia probably is in a tier by herself. But I understand what Bryson's saying, that in this exercise, if we put Tia in a tier by herself, then that means everyone else has to be in 3, and I think that makes it a little bit more difficult.
Okay, so who's in the top tier? So are you saying the women need 5 tiers?
No, I just think there are more women in tier 3 and 4 than there are in 1 and 2.
This is a better way to explain it. If tier by herself, then Laura has to be in a tier with a bunch of other people who Laura is separate from. She belongs in a top tier when there's only 4 groups.
What do you think about this statement? Tia and Laura are the only ones who have a chance to win Rogue.
Well, I think
I
they're
don't think
saying
she-
I think they're saying they're the only ones who have ever won Rogue. I think
Yeah.
that was what that statement was saying. That
Tia and
they're
Laura
actually
are the only ones to win Rogue.
yeah.
Julian, clear that up. Who's right, me or JR? They're saying that only Tia and Laura have ever won
JR's right.
Rogue. I'm saying that you're saying that Tia and Laura are the only ones who have a chance to win Rogue.
I would put the first 3 names in the first tier.
Okay. Tia, Laura. JR was right. Well, fuck you then.
I was gonna say I really want Gabby to be in that top tier, but I don't know, but I could see an argument against it just being Tia and Laura. But if JR is going with Gabby, then I'm on board.
Okay. And then who's in the next tier? Ariel, Alex, Danielle.
I think it goes
Really?
from Danielle to maybe Haley Adams.
You think Brooke Wells is in that?
I think so.
You think Amanda Barnhart's in that?
I think so. I mean, we know she's coming off of an injury, but
You think Amanda Barnhart, Emma Quaid are in the same tier as Haley Adams?
Are we talking about in relationship to this competition or just in general? If we're thinking that if we're taking these 20 names and saying rank them as far as how good they are at the sport of CrossFit into 4 tiers. So
Yeah.
we're doing it that way.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Because that is different because the programming here and the feel of the competition will usually lend to athletes of specific areas of strength.
Or just imagine that you don't even know. You could just say it could be this for event. You just don't know the workouts.
Yeah.
That's just it. You know what I mean? So I guess that would be tantamount.
CrossFit in general.
Yeah. Okay. So you agree with Danielle, Ariel, Gazan, Brooke Wells.
So I would slide Haley up and slide Emma down.
So Haley, are you okay with that, Bryson?
Yeah, like slide Emma out of the group or just slide her
out of tier 2. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's fair, but I think with
what about
especially
Emily
if we're just going off of just CrossFit though, I think that's better for Emma, like versus Rogue.
Yeah.
What about Emily Rolfe and Amanda Barnhart, tier 2?
Yeah.
JR?
Yeah, that's fine. A lot of people will be like, Amanda missed out on the games, but I mean, just like Yana missed out on the games, she's been a staple for so long. I still think she's really, really good.
Okay, and Rolfe.
And Rolfe's the third fittest woman on earth right now. So
okay. What about Maddie Stewart? Would you put her in that second tier?
I'd probably put her in the third tier.
I think so. I think another person I think you could argue, especially based on the trajectory in the last couple of years. I know this year was a weird year, but Emma Tall is also really, really, really good.
You want to put her in tier 2?
I kind of do.
I think moving Emma Tall up is fair.
Okay. And what about Taylor Williamson? You think that tier 2?
No. I think 3 just because it's unknown.
What about Danny Spiegel?
I think she's 3.
Okay.
3 probably.
But she has so many followers. Paige Semenza?
3 or 2. I could see people definitely arguing her into 2. But I think 3.
Man on Anganese?
3.
Yeah, I would say 3 or 4.
And Sydney Wells?
I think Sydney Wells could potentially be the top of 4.
Because now when you're like, to me, when you're looking at these names, you're looking at history, you're looking at what have you done for me lately, but you're also looking at how long have you been around and how how much of a staple you've been. Like, have you been in and out? Have you made the games the last 5 or 6 years, every single year? Like that kind of thing.
Taylor Williamson.
I think 3 or 4.
I think.
Yeah, I think so too. I think
put her in
I think
two, to be
tiers 2 and 3 have a lot of ones that could go either way, and I think tier 1, a lot like tier 4, are very small and a little bit more clear.
So you're okay with her in 3?
Yeah.
Taylor Howe.
4.
Yeah, I would say she's 4. I would say Dana Pran's 4.
Okay. Tier 1, Tia, Laura, Gabriella McGawa. Tier 2, Danielle Brandon, Ariel Lowen, Alex Kazan, Brooke Wells, Haley Adams, Amanda Barnhart, Rolf, Emma Tall. Who's the closest to tier 1 and out of tier 2? Danielle, Ariel, Gazan, Brooke Wells, Haley Adams, Amanda Barnhart, Rolf, Emma Tall.
It's hard not
Kazan,
to
maybe.
look at. Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. It's hard not to look at what happened this year at the games and look and see where people finish, but it's just such a weird thing that I would still say probably Alex.
Okay. And then tier 3, Emma McQuaid, Maddie Sturt, Danny Spiegel, Paige Semenza, Manon Angones, Taylor Williamson. And then tier 4, Sydney Wells, Taylor Howe, and then Paran. Do you think that of all the athletes who are the biggest unknown, would you say it's Taylor Williamson? The biggest, you could say, dark horse unknown?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, I think she said I watched one of the videos that they put out on like her journey to Rogue. And I mean, she even says like a lot of times she works out, has like one long session, and then sometimes like on her lunch break, she does something really quick. And like that's how much she trains. So she's still training a lot more than the average person, but not anything like what most of these athletes train like day in and day out.
JR, Mr. Howell. My Colombian.
I got to seriously.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it? I just really like that.
I think she's calling me out on the fact that I do believe Tia is in a tier all by herself. But for the sake of the exercise, I really don't think Laura belongs in tier 2 with a lot of the other people. That's right. That's where I'm torn.
That's the point. Like, you could keep dividing it. That's what I'm trying to say. You could keep dividing it as much as you want and have 20 tiers and put one person in each tier. But
a lot of people would probably say that Tia's in a tier, Laura's in a tier, and then there's everybody else. I mean, a lot of people would
right, exactly. So obviously Tia is way better than everybody
Tessa.
else.
Thank you for calling me out on my lack of candor.
So you're saying maybe 6 tiers. Tessa, JR, seriously, JR. Tia was only a few points behind Laura last year, and she was just months postpartum. Now Tia has trained and is extremely fit, and was extremely fit at the games. Do you think Laura is fitter this year? That's a good question. Do you think Laura is fitter this year?
Yeah, for sure. But I think almost everybody else is also. I don't think the gap has closed, if that's the answer, if that's the question. Like, I think Tia has also gotten better. I don't think Tia is declining.
I think what she was saying is that Laura hasn't gotten better significantly, and Tia has gotten significantly better. But I misunderstood the previous comment also. Sarah Cooper, isn't this Taylor's first Indy comp? I believe that's correct.
Oh, first ever, maybe. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think I heard that also.
First notable one, at least.
All right. Let's pull up the workouts. Sorry, John. Your loss. Can I do them through here?
Yep.
Hey, Ken Walters, Bryson, 1 per tier would be called rankings. Yeah, that's my fucking point, dude. That's why we're not doing 20 tiers, because we're not just ranking them.
Individual event 1, quicksand. We've got some new information on quicksand, right?
Yeah.
What is the new information?
So the information is every round is going to have a different kind of sandbag carry. So they've got 10 different bags. From what I understand, some of them are like marked, as in they know what the weights are, and some of them are not, and they're almost like an unknown load. But they know that the weights go from very light to very heavy. So like 40 pounds, 50 pounds, 60 pounds, and then there may be a couple that are 70, and then 90, 100, 120, and then one that's 150, something like that. But they're all like different. There's some jerry bags mixed in. There's some like feed bags with handles on them. there's one of the drag bags that they used last year where they drug the bag across the finish line at the end of that long run workout. I don't know if you remember that or not, Sevon. And 4 laps are with a ruck, and then they'll take off the ruck and they'll do the other 6 runs with no weight.
Okay.
So it's like get all this stuff and move it over there and run after each time to get back to the bags. One of those type events.
And do we know how far do we know how far the sandbag carries are?
I do not know how long it is. No.
Okay. Patrick Clark Taylor Williamson competed as an individual at Down Under Championship last year as an individual. I wonder, I thought I heard it from her mouth that this was her first individual. Maybe I heard wrong. Thank you, Patrick.
So yeah, and the way I understand it is they can choose the order in which they carry them, which I think is the coolest part of the workout, if that's the case.
That
so
is really cool.
You'll see some people carrying different bags on different rounds and maybe saying, oh, look, they carried the heaviest bag first and they've kind of closed the gap because they waited to the end to carry the lightest ones or whatever. I think it'll be cool. And some people may choose to carry the heavier ones first.
I think it's kind of weird to have them ruck for 4 rounds and then take it off. But also if they can carry the bags in any order, that means that maybe there could be some strategy like, oh, I'm going to carry this one while I also have my ruck and I can throw it over my shoulder and kind of let my ruck take some of the weight or whatever. Just little stuff like that is the only reason I could think of.
Yeah.
But it seems weird to just not have them ruck or just run.
All right. JR, event 1, top 3.
Women only, right? I'm going to say Tia, Gabby, Emily, but I really, really like Brooke on this. And yeah, it's maybe a little bit of bias, but I think she's definitely top 5 on this.
Say it one more time. Tia,
Gabby, Emily.
Okay. Bryson?
I'm going to say Tia, Gabby, and Haley Adams.
Okay.
That's a good one,
and
too.
I'm going to say Tia, Haley, Sydney Wells from tier 4. Tier 4 choice. Is Sydney better runner than Brooke?
Probably.
Not in this setting, I don't think.
Fine, be that way.
I think the carry will. I think
specifically about
the
this
carry
setting
will matter.
makes it not.
Just the fact that she has a lot of history doing workouts with loaded running, and I don't think Sydney has any.
Individual event 2, Echo Bike, ring muscle ups, 8 squat snatch at 160, 6 shuttle sprints. Go ahead, Bryson.
I think Laura's probably hard to beat on this. Laura, Tia, and I want to say Alex because of the muscle ups, but she snatched 165 as her max at semifinals. But I'm going to say Alex. I trust that she's been working on that.
Laura, Tia, Alex. Okay. Mr. Howell. Unless you'd like me to go first.
I don't think your picks are going to affect mine, but go ahead.
Okay. I'm gonna say Tia. Taylor. And Ariel.
All right. And I think muscle ups on the Zeus rig are going to be trouble for a lot of people, especially if they don't have a lot of experience as straps for so long.
Yep.
I also know that this workout is an 8-minute cap and there is a tie break. I think because they're anticipating the snatches giving people some trouble and or the long straps giving some people trouble, I would expect more so maybe the females. So there's a tie break, and it is after the ring muscle ups. And we can talk about that and whether or not we like it. But will that make some people take chances on the bike and on the muscle ups if they don't think they can finish it? I still think 8 minutes is kind of generous. I'm curious what Bryson thinks about that. But that is also kind of in the back of some of the athletes' minds. I would still say Tia, Laura, and I actually like Danielle on this because under fatigue, I know that she has really, really good shoulder position, and I trust her shoulders after all the ring muscle ups more than a lot of people's.
Danielle making her first appearance, event number 2. All right.
This has an 8-minute cap.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that's a 4 minute.
I think the fastest are going to be 4 to 5 minutes. Yeah, especially for the males, but I don't know how much slower the females go. Yeah, and I don't know how long the shuttle sprints are either, and maybe that's why, because the shuttle sprints are just taking a lot longer than we think, and so they were like, hey, if me and you are on our 3rd down and back, and you're halfway down the field, and I'm a quarter of the way, how are we going to score that? So they're just going to score it based on when you finish the rings. And a lot of people would just argue, well, hey, if you're at that point, maybe you're not relevant anyway. It shouldn't matter. But I mean, they still have to distribute the points somehow.
Jesus, Rogue doesn't do water. It's always nice to get a little comment from Jesus. Individual event 3, wall walks complex. Do we know what that is yet?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a wall walk plus 2 wall facing strict handstand push-ups and then back down. So there'll be a tape line on the floor. Hands start behind the tape. You walk back, hands on the tape, do 2, come back down, hands back in front of the tape. That's 1. So they'll do 8 of those. So they'll do 16 handstand push-ups and then 12 and then 8. So there's a total of 20 wall walks, 40 handstand push-ups.
And the handstand push-ups, not deficit, and you can kip, you can do whatever.
I think they have to be strict, but no, I think they're just to a flat pad.
Okay.
They're wall facing, so there's not like a strict designation, but that's just, you can't kip a wall facing.
Okay, that was my question. Okay. Go ahead, JR.
I will go. Tia, Alex, Brooke. I think you got to be a strong squatter, obviously, but you also have to have really good shoulder stamina. And just the people who I know are either going to be really, really good as far as time duration on their hands, or just people who are going to be able to crank strict handstand push-ups. I think the way that the workout is written, and usually with these kind of workouts, with any strict gymnastics, the gymnastics tends to matter for the females even more so than the males.
And Gabby's not notorious for having great handstand push-ups, right?
I don't know her for that, but I'm sure they're really good.
Bryson?
I'm going to say Tia, Gabby, Alex.
Okay. And I'm going to say Alex, Tia, Brooke. Cruising. Did they announce any more events?
Well, those 3 we didn't have details on. So we have more details on those now. The rest of them we kind of know details other than 6 and 9. I don't think they released anything else about those 2.
And what's the plan for when to release those?
I don't remember last year. I think maybe they released it on Friday, what the Saturday night, like under the light strength event was. I think a lot of people assume it's going to be some kind of a strength event.
Danielle doesn't finish top 10 in that workout. True?
I don't know. I'm sure she's been squatting a lot. I mean, I don't anticipate that back squat like giving her trouble. I think in the past when it did, it was because she wasn't able to lift leading up to it. But who knows?
How about Taylor's handstand push-ups?
I think the qualifier, which I mean, she had to beat a lot of people to get there. That was her lowest score. Was the wall facing? They had wall facing in the online qualifier, and that was her worst workout.
Barry McCockner, Danielle's squats are still the same. Taylor's long. She is long. Event 4, 1,000 meter row, 30 thrusters, 30 log muscle ups, 30 thrusters, 1,000 meter row. Man, those log thrusters or log muscle ups. Holy cow. I guess 20 for the women.
That's good. Yeah, that's appropriate.
Wow. God, this one's going to be crazy. Who shined the last time we saw these?
So they've done them the last 2 years. This will be the third year in a row. But Gabby was really good at them. Ariel was really good at them. I mean, Laura was good at them. I do think there's going to be a handful or a couple handfuls of women that are really, really good at them. And then I think there's going to be a lot of people that struggle.
Like wasn't Kerstetter or didn't someone get stuck at 1 or 2 or something?
There were several. Yeah, Annika, Olivia, like that, especially if you've never done it before. And I'm pretty sure that they'll have one in the warm-up area. But even so, like if you haven't spent time on it, it's something that's pretty hard to adapt to. If you've got small hands, if you're someone that utilizes a really, really big kip on bar muscle ups and you're not very good at strict pulling, I think you're already at kind of a disadvantage.
There he is, ladies and gentlemen. John Young, Event 4. Thanks for joining us, buddy.
No problem, man.
Always good to see you. You're a busy man. Were you just training for grid?
No.
Individual Event 4, 1,000 meter row, 30 thrusters, 95 pounds, 20 log muscle ups. We're just doing the women, John.
Okay.
30 thrusters. Oh, I got to make another column for John. John, you can go first.
All right. Event 4, I got Laura.
Laura.
You want me to tell you?
Give him 2 more.
Oh, top 3?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Tia. And then my number 4 is going to be Alex Kazan.
Oh, Gazan.
I didn't think about Alex on this one. That's a good one.
Do you want me to give me my top 3 for the other 3?
Sure. Yeah, let's do it. Go back to Event 1. Go ahead. I'll get them real quick.
All right. Tia, Gabby, and Brooke Wells.
Tia, Gabby. Oh, different than everyone else's here. Okay. Event 2.
Event 2, I have Tia, Laura Horvath, and then Alex Kazan.
Tia, Laura. Oh, no one picked that either. Okay. Event 3.
And then event 3, I got Alex Kazan, Tia, and Ariel Lowen.
Wow. Okay. That's close. That's closest to mine.
That makes me feel terrible.
It should. I picked Alex and Tia. I picked Alex and Tia 1 and 2, and I picked Brooke for 3, not Ariel.
Brooke's not a bad pick.
Okay, John for Event 4, 1,000 meter row, 30 thrusters, 95 pounds, 20 log muscle ups, 30 thrusters, 95 pounds, 1,000 meter row. John picked Laura, Tia, and Gazan. Hey, do we know the time cap on this one, JR?
I don't know any other time caps other than for Event 2.
Okay. Do we know how long? What time frame do you think this is going to be in? This is a long workout, right?
This workout, let's see, for I'm just being conservative. So 8 minutes for the row, 12.
I'd say a 15-minute time cap.
I think it's more. I think it's probably like I think in general most of the caps will be a little bit more conservative than they've been in the past. I'd say it's probably like
20,
17, 18. And John, sorry, Stefan. Did you guys talk about the tie break for event 2 on Spin Show?
We did not.
So there's an 8-minute cap on event 2. And I've seen some like Instagram stories of the field of play. Looks very long. So I think if people get capped during the shuttles, whether or not it's because of the long straps on Zeus or just because the squat snatch end up being a lot harder than some people think they're going to be, there's a tie break, and it's when you finish the ring muscle ups.
Oh, okay. So, okay. They're trying to bait people then?
Or just they're like, hey, you don't want to get in a bottleneck just on the shuttles at the end and end up like we're not going to have 4 people tied that are on the 3rd shuttle sprint. We're just going to make the tie break, finish the race.
Gotcha.
So.
Yeah. No, I think that's smart.
Why would they need a tie break? There's not going to be a tie.
If people get capped.
If the shuttle run is really long.
Oh.
If it's like 100 feet down, 100 feet back, yeah. I mean, there'll be people that are on, like, because it's a down and back. So you think, let's say it's 100 feet. So 200 feet is still going to be what?
I forgot about the shuttle
like
sprint.
20
right?
seconds.
Yeah. So
Patrick,
the tie break.
Clark said 18-minute cap for event 4. I don't know if he knows or if that's.
So the tie break is because people they expect people not to get time capped. That's what the tie break's for. You wouldn't need a tie.
Sure.
You wouldn't need. Okay.
Yeah.
I got it. I didn't make that connection. Okay.
And if it's the same cap, I think it's a lot more likely that the 160 after the 16 muscle ups slows more females down than the males.
I think I want to give a little explanation for Alex on event 2, if that's okay. I'll be quick about it.
Please.
Because I know everybody's like, oh, it's snatch. She's trash at snatch. And she is.
I picked her.
She's working on it. Said nobody picked her.
For event 2, he did not pick. He picked her 3. He picked her.
Okay. I mean, that's where I have her.
I'm just saying the order. No one picked your exact order. He picked
I
Laura,
got
Tia. You picked Tia, Laura.
I just think she's going to be one of the only ones that goes unbroken on the ring muscle ups. If not unbroken, then very close to unbroken. And she will have a 3 snatch lead on almost everybody. Maybe not Tia. Laura will just out snatch her. She'll be that much faster. But everybody else, she doesn't have to rush the snatches, even if, you know what I mean? And she'll have that gap of time, 30 seconds gap time. You can have time to take your time. And
the only thing that I'm worried about that is because she has the ability to go unbroken on those, that's just going to jack her up for the squat snatches.
Yeah, but then take 15 seconds.
Right. But when you're on the floor at the Rogue Invitational and everything you've been working on for the last year is not missing squat snatches that are under a maximal load, and you got to do it, the pressure's on, bro.
Yeah, no, I gotcha.
You're not gonna stand for 20 seconds, even if you have 20 seconds to stand around.
No, I gotcha. You should though, if you're smart.
And I picked her.
Yeah.
I think that I trust that she's been working on it, and I want her to do really well. But I'm just saying that's what worries me is that she can do those ring muscle ups unbroken. And when you get a chest pump and you're already prone to missing snatches because you're overhead, it's just a recipe for disaster.
John, what do you think if you had to set the line for men to do the 16 unbroken and for women to do the 16 unbroken, and what for women?
5.
Because I don't think it's going to be more than 3.
I would set the line at 5. I would not be shocked if it's under 5. I tend to agree. I think Tia and Alex,
the average,
and then after that, I don't know. Maybe
no,
Haley.
Just like how many will be able? Will it be like more than 3 or less than 3? Yeah.
With the women, it's so hard because I don't think you have to. You know what I mean? So like, you don't have to execute your game plan. I don't think it's going to be like I have to do these unbroken. For the men, if you don't do it unbroken, you're behind.
I think every
here's the deal.
Is unbroken.
Here's the deal, though. Choosing to break 10-6 or 12-4 is so much less time, so much less energy, and so much less expensive than failing one squat snatch.
100%.
So because of that, I am curious how many people will just choose to do it.
I for the women, I would set the line at 5. For the men, I would set the line at 15. And I just think some will break just because of what you said. They're like, I'm going to beat everybody that doesn't execute to 100%. Right.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's not a bad call. That's not, if you know you're not going to be great at the event, that's not a bad idea. You know what I'm saying? But I just think most of them do.
Event 4, John made his picks. The workout is What is the workout? It's the row.
1,000-meter row,
Row.
30 thrusters with 135 and 95, 20 log muscle ups for the women, 30 thrusters at 95, and then 1,000-meter row.
And John picked Laura, Tia, Gazan. I'm going to pick Taylor, Tia, and Alex. Bryson.
Taylor Williamson?
Yeah.
Ooh, he's been picking Taylor Williamson for everything.
Okay, I gotcha.
Hey, not true. I think that individually she can do those individually. If you just look at those, she can do the row faster than everyone else who's there.
No.
I do. I think she can. She can do the thrusters faster than everyone who's there.
God, no.
And so that only questions her log muscle ups, but it only
questions everything.
Heck no.
But it only questions her ability for the time domain. So she's the best rower there, and she's the best at thrusters there at that rep with that weight. And so now the only thing in question is can she last 8? What's her capacity to hold that power output? But
I would say
she's the strongest athlete in the group.
So I would say it questions her ability to row 1,000 meters. This event questions her ability to do 30 thrusters faster than everybody else. This event
60 thrusters.
Right, but in order. Let's just say in order. And then it questions her ability to do 20 log muscle ups, 30 thrusters, and then another 1,000-meter row. And it questions the time domain, and it questions competing as an individual, and it questions just having less work capacity than all these other girls potentially.
I think the time domain and the log muscle ups are the only question. I think the other two are.
If the log muscle ups are a question, you should not be thinking about that person.
Well,
because I also think experience on the log muscle up. I mean, anybody can get a log, but like actually doing the log muscle ups is huge because so many people like it didn't come natural to them. Like people were failing that you wouldn't expect to fail.
What did Tia get on the log muscle ups last year?
I'm not surprised that you guys underestimated her, by the way. I'm not surprised.
I want to say she got like 5th.
I was going to guess 5th.
Yeah, she got 5th. Yep.
All right,
and that was mixed with back squats. You know what I mean? Something that she's going to crush, right? I get Laura might be a little bit better. Even Alex is probably a little bit better at back squats, but she was 5th place mixed with something she's very good at, and she's fitter than everybody. I like Tia, but this is more of a fitness test, I think, than that workout. That workout, you know, can you lift heavy? Can you do the log muscle ups? That's it. This is more of a fitness test, 100%. But that's why I put Laura above her, because Laura was better at the log muscle ups. Laura's a better rower by a decent amount. Yes, Tia can probably do 60 thrusters, but they're heavy thrusters. That bodes well for Laura too. The whole workout bodes well for Laura.
Yeah,
they're moderate thrusters, even for 60 reps. Right. They're moderate for them.
I got you. But the heavier, the better, I think, for Laura, because Tia can't just out fitness her, right, and just be that much faster.
I'll go Laura, Tia, then Alex.
Laura, Tia, and Taylor. Is that what you said?
Alex.
Oh, Alex.
Are y'all picking a last place too? Didn't we say we were doing that?
No, we haven't been, John. You keep your opinions to yourself.
JR. Here's the thing. One girl.
John, before you got on here, dude, I had to put people into tears. Are you kidding me? And it was like you could hear pin drop. Tessa was calling me names. Like it was crazy in here.
John, we'll revisit. We did an exercise in the beginning where we put all the athletes. We spread them out over 4 tiers, not based on rogue workouts, but just based on their CrossFit ability. We'll revisit that at the end.
That's interesting. I don't think there's 4 tiers to be had.
I think we determined there's 6, but we only
damn it, John.
I decided on 4.
Don't start how many numbers of tiers. The thing is, there's 4 tiers, so we're putting them into 4 tiers. That's the thing that we're doing.
Okay, that's fine.
Ken Walters told us if there's 20 tiers, it's no longer tiers; it's called a ranking. So that was kind of cool. Okay, event for Mr.
Howell. Laura, Alex, Ariel.
Oh, you really don't believe in Tia?
Yeah,
no,
so
I do. I just know I can pick her for every single event, and at this point, I'm just trying to give.
I almost just didn't want to pick her just to put Gabby in there, but I think it is still a fitness workout.
Do y'all want to start doing that if it's an event you know Tia is going to be good at, just to not pick her and pick 3 people?
No,
I don't mind doing
No,
it.
I think that's the reason you pick 3 instead of 1.
Okay.
And honestly, because I know she's just not the best of everyone at log. So I was like, if I'm gonna do it, I'm just gonna do it here.
Yeah. I'm gonna do it here.
Event 5, 3 rope climbs, 21 single arm sear bell devil press, 3 rope climbs, 21 single arm sear devil press, 70 pounds, 3 rope climbs. Go ahead, JR.
I'm gonna go. Laura, Gabby, Emma Tall.
Wow. Okay. There is a girl who's going to be last place every event. It's just one girl.
Yeah, her name's Emily Rolfe.
I don't know who it is, but it is just going to be one. It's always like that. It's just one girl. It's just one girl or one guy, and they just take last place for every event.
Is this everyone? This is.
Did you say who did you say? Emma Tall?
For JR said Emma Tall.
No, for last place.
I think Emily Rolfe is going to get last place in 4 events.
She's the 3rd fittest woman on earth, dude.
You're fucking
Yep.
right. You're right.
You'll see what happens.
Bryson, go ahead.
Laura, Emma Tall, and Tia.
Dang, Bryson. That's the 3 that I'm going to say as well.
Say it again. Give them to me, John.
Laura, Emma Tall, and Tia. That was the 3 I had.
Okay. The workout was some burpees with a dumbbell in your hand and some rope climbs, right? 9 rope climbs.
It's a sear bell, if that makes any difference.
Yeah. Okay. So it's pretty obvious. It's pretty obvious who's gonna win this. This is Man on Anganese is gonna win this.
I actually think this event's going to be really tight. It's going to be who can move the sear bell the fastest, but like it's only 9 rope climbs. I don't think a ton of time is going to be made up on the rope climbs. I think everybody's going to be really close together on this.
Man on Anganese, then Alex Gazan.
I like Alex for this.
I do too, but I picked Alex like on a lot of different stuff, so I didn't want to pick her on this one.
It's tough, man. It's so hard to bet against Tia. I'm going to put Tia in. Man on Gazan and Tia. Event 6, no event 6, right?
Did JR pick for that one?
Oh, did you?
Yeah. I went first. Yeah.
So event 6, we know it's a 5-minute time cap. We know there's 4 heats. We know it's probably heavy. That makes me think it's something like Atlas stones. That's an Atlas stone definition. Like that fits that definition, and it's very heavy. It's just for time.
I think there's a lot of time. I think there's a lot of time in between the men and women too, which would make sense that they've got to get a lot of things off the floor and then different loads onto the floor.
What is strongest, that company?
Like
I tried to look it up. You can't find anything about them.
It's not like Competition Corner. That's what it is, right? It's like it's a scoring company.
Hey, do you think this is going to
their
be?
Instagram doesn't have anything on it, like stuff that they might have used, and
You think this is going to be an elimination workout?
No, they don't have enough time for it.
Well, it's the last event of the day.
It's scheduled to be like an hour.
Oh, okay. So this is Danny. So Danny's going to win this?
Well, I mean, we don't know what it is, but I think it's going to be an odd object sprint heavy event, an odd object heavy event that's fast.
What if they did this, John? Sorry for interrupting you.
Go ahead. You're good.
They haven't done a static hold of any kind for a strength event. And
The Denny Stones?
what if they did this? I mean, regardless of what it is, what if they did eliminate, but they sent 5 people out at a time, and just the winner of, okay, hold that for as long as you can. okay, you're out, you're out, you're out. Oh, they're still holding. Okay, they won. You move to the side. And they just did that. And they only did 3 heats of that. And then they just kept going until there was a winner. Whereas it was like a last person holding type situation. So it was still elimination, but because the thing was so heavy that the hold was just very, very short in duration. It probably wouldn't look great if they had to do it for multiple rounds because they would just get more and more fatigued. But I'm just trying to think of ways that they could still do, like, because 5 people on the floor, there's either got to be a ton of stuff or they've got to just want to only have 5 things out there.
I think if they did that, you'd have to take the 5 fastest times or the 4 fastest times, I guess, if 4 heats of 5, but then it would be 5 heats of 5, right? Or 5 heats, 1 heat of 4. But you'd have to have the longest 4 times. You can't just take the one person out because that person did more work than everybody else, right? So,
and if it's heats of 5, I mean, it would make sense that it's some kind of medley or some kind of like stone to pedestal, stone to pedestal, stone to pedestal, and
or a fingers. That would be fun. Like any strongman event, you know,
single fingers.
So it's basically like you know how there's like a telephone pole on the ground, and you would basically just flip it. So you would walk it up. It's kind of like that, but you do it back and forth.
They can't risk these. Dude, these athletes are McGurks. They can't have half these athletes can't do that, dude.
I was thinking about this the other day.
I don't have that athleticism to do it. I don't.
I've only seen it at like smaller strongman competitions, but have you guys seen the lever deadlifts where they have a big, basically telephone pole connected to a lever, and there's hooks all along the telephone pole, and athletes basically straddle it and have an attachment with a hook that's basically a barbell, and they hook it at the end so it's really light, and then they move down to the next hook, deadlift it. It's a little bit heavier because you're getting closer and closer to the lever. I thought that would be a really cool, like, heavy event to do.
That would be cool. And they haven't done deadlift, but they'd have to have 5 of those things.
Someone in here said, this is a good comment. Angela Cole, no chance. I think the TBA events will be an homage to Scotland. And that's what you guys are suggesting, right? Right. Okay.
I think it'll be something. It'll be picking something up from the floor. That's would be the only other thing that I think would be really cool if they did was if they threw something. If they did some kind of throw, if they did some kind of keg toss, if they did one of those strongman sandbags and threw something up and over something for height, and they just kept going until no one could do it. But I don't know. The whole timing of the heats and everything makes me think it's not going to be like that.
And the hard thing with like, say it is Atlas stones, or even what you're saying, Bryson, like the 4 heats of 5 puts a damper into it because the best one could be in heat 1. You know what I mean? It's not like we're like waiting for the best till the end. These are all like, can you do it things? So everybody's just going to be sporadic with their scores. It's not, you know what I mean? Like that's not.
Well, that's what I was also thinking about this when they were talking about tug of war on Shut Up and Scribble the other day. That, and you know what, I think someone brought this up recently, like having a wrestling match as an event in a CrossFit competition. But you would have to just give points to the winner, and that's it. Because you could in the first round wrestle the dude who's going to go on to win the whole thing, but you might have gotten second if you met him in the final.
Yeah, for sure.
And same thing with tug of war. Like if you just do one-on-one tug of war,
you can't.
You might tug of war the guy who's going to win the whole thing in the first round. So you just have to give
never do wrestling. The winner. They would never do wrestling.
Yeah, they wouldn't. But I'm just saying, someone brought that up the other day. I forgot, it was maybe on Spins. I saw Colton commenting on it.
John, you think they do? John or JR, you think they do wrestling?
No. It's too much injury risk.
God, that would be so awkward.
Also, like,
I think people.
I feel like size.
But listen, though,
size comes into play with wrestling. Like, that's not the most fairest thing, you know.
The closest thing though to like an individual, like one-on-one, would be making something like a sled that had an attachment on both sides. 3, 2, 1, go. One of you pushes it, and you both push it, and eventually someone has to concede. Because
like the Titan games,
they can't do it, and you basically push the sled past the line, and then the person that's on the other side of the sled is out, and you do something like that, where you're still kind of imposing your will on someone else, but it's like through an inanimate object.
Yeah,
it's kind of weird. Yeah, I don't know. It would be fun.
I know. I think that would be fun.
Or if one person stood on each side of the Conan's wheel, and like you were on one side, I was on the other, and we're supposed to push in opposite directions, and we just keep pushing until one of us gets turned. You know
The physical 100. Have you seen that, JR?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah. I love that. If they were to do that, that would be amazing. They also do this thing they do this in football. You strap 2 ropes to each other, and then you break and see who can pull the other one. I think that one would be fun because that's a bit of an endurance thing.
I mean, I think tug of war would be cool. It just, you have to give points to the winner and no one else.
You'd have to have like elimination, but like you can get beat 5 times. You know what I mean? Like, and there have to be like 20 different people, right?
Yeah.
Or 20 different matches. All right, event 6, I'm going to pick Laura.
I'm going to pick Danny.
I'm going to pick, hold on. I actually have rankings for event 6. I just thought, who is the best at barbell strength, odd object strength, combine the two. That's my person, right? I think Laura is the best of the 2 worlds. I think Danny Spiegel's number 2, and I put Alex Kazan as 3 for that.
And that's where I would slide Taylor in. So I would go like Laura, Danny, Taylor, Williamson.
Wow.
Because I think if it is odd, the more odd it is, and if there's
Taylor.
any chance at all that there's going to be something static, you probably don't want to pick against her.
Dude, the Atlas Stones, I think Taylor would win. Straight up.
Who did you pick, John? Who did you
I
pick?
said Laura, Danny Spiegel, and then Alex Kazan. And this is just any arbitrary strength thing that could come out.
Yeah, this is completely shooting in the dark. Bryson?
I'll go Laura, Danny Spiegel, and Tia.
I'm going to go Danny, Tia. Who do you think? You think that Laura's stronger than Manon Angon is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Laura will freaking labia slap Anna Manon.
Wow.
Oh my God. Wow.
I don't think they're in the same category.
Is that Laura slapping her labias with her hand, or Laura taking her own labias and slapping Manon Agnes?
John just I can't believe you froze there. John just inner Taylor self. That was incredible. Wow. All right. Okay, I'm gonna go with Danny, Tia, Taylor. Okay. Wow. Okay. Event 8. I'm running out of room on this paper. Event 8. Do that like that. Okay. Oh no. Are we on event? No. Sorry. Sorry. We're on event 7. We're on event 7. Pegboard. Oh, let me pull it up. Wow, that was fantastic, John. Your repertoire is getting huge. You're getting more. You've gotten so many reps. You're unpredictable. Individual.
Huge.
Individual gondola. 1 pegboard. Skier, 48 cals for the girls, 60 GHD, 1 pegboard, 32 cals on the skier, 40 GHDs, 1 pegboard, 16 cals on the skier, 20 GHD, 1 pegboard. We saw the pegboard. It looks pretty short. It looks like it's going to be a non-factor except for just the McGurks.
And
right?
so the way Jay was doing it, I don't know if you guys have talked about it. That's not allowed. They said you had to face it.
So the whole time.
Yeah.
Okay. Your hands can't, but can your hands cross?
Yeah, your hands can cross. You just have to face it.
Which would be just crazy.
What, was someone trying to like hang under it and face away?
No. Jay, like,
It was really
like George of the Jungle style.
Oh.
It was very, very neat.
It was impressive if you could pull.
He should have
out.
never done it. He should have never done it.
He should have. It just did it the day of 100% because it's way faster than anything I've seen from anybody.
But if you miss a hole, you're in trouble that way
he
because
did miss a hole. He was fine. So like, and then he would swing, but like underneath it, and then go in like this. But like he'd miss it, and then hit it. But then you swing like 5 different holes and get it in the other one.
You can't see the holes if you make a mistake.
Yeah. And what like the question I have about this, because I think they only got briefed on 1, 2, and 3, is do you have to do the whole traverse unbroken? I think you should have to.
I thought that was assumed.
I assumed it.
I hope it is. Is it 3 pegboards or is it 2 across?
I don't know.
It still looked like 3 when Jay was doing it, but I mean that's having to do that unbroken. I think at least is good enough to create some more separation for people that will stand there and think about it. For the people that will, you know.
Well, yeah, one pegboard is up and down, has to be unbroken.
Sure.
So if it's too wide, that's the same length of one pegboard.
Plus, how do you dictate where they would go back up? You're gonna jump up and then grab your pegs and go. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, there'd be no way to, unless.
Or if a peg fell out, fell out, like how you gonna put that peg?
Have we seen the setup for this event yet?
That same Bryson, I'll send it to you. Or unless Sevon can go to the Rogue Instagram and watch that video of Jay. But it is kind of like it is still, so it's perpendicular. It's parallel to your lane line. It is not perpendicular to. So like you're kind of working your way down. Yeah.
It was at the Rogue Invitational Instagram.
I think so. Yeah. That video of Jay doing it.
I don't see it. Is it the most recent? Is it nope, I don't see it. Let's see. How old is it?
It's new. I think it's from today. I'll look back and see if I can find it in the thread.
Maybe it's on their story. Maybe it's on their story.
Is it in locker room?
No, it's actually Jay's. It's actually Jay's story.
Okay.
Jay's story or Jay's reel. One of the two.
Here you go.
Looks like 3 boards.
Can you pull it up, Sevon?
Yeah, I'm looking to see. I think it's on his story. Give me 1 second.
You're absolutely right, JR. He should have never showed anybody because if.
But they may have gone over that in the briefing. They may have just said, "Oh yeah," before any of you try to do it.
Fair.
But
if they didn't, though, it's almost an automatic win.
Yeah.
If nobody else had it, you have an.
It had been really cool live, like the reactions of the announcers and stuff, and the fans would have been really cool to see.
Where do you see it?
His story, Sevon.
It's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess it's gone.
If he took it down, do you think that
Jay's ready for a Diddy party?
he confirmed that it was okay with the judge or something?
John was saying he heard it is not allowed.
Yeah. Then why would he have taken it down?
I don't think he took it down. I think it just expired.
It reached its life. Okay, for the women, pegboard, skier, GHD, 4 rounds, 3 rounds, 4 rounds, descending skier, descending GHD numbers, 60, 40, 20, 48, 32, 16. JR, you want to go, John? You already got all your stuff, right? You already did this.
Sure.
Who do you got?
Sorry, I was looking for Jay's thing. I have Haley Adams as number 1. My number 2 is Tia, and my number 3 is Alex Kazan.
And why Haley?
Any ski GHD combo, she is extremely good. She's the fastest GHDer in the whole entire land of women, and she's fine on the ski. She's the only woman to beat Tia in the running ski GHD workout in the 2021 Rogue Invitational. And it was her and Tia and then everybody else. There was a big gap between the two, those two people. A tier, if you will. A tier of just Tia and Haley. And I think she'll be fine on the pegboard. The pegboard, I think most people will go at the same speed except for the people that just can't do it. Maybe there's somebody who can do it way better than everybody else, and we just don't know about it. I think Kazan will be extremely good at the pegboard. I don't think she'll wait and rest, but I think Tia and Haley are just kind of going to just be the fastest ones in that workout in general, just fitness-wise.
JR, Laura's climbing won't play a role here?
No, No, I think it will. I think her ability to ski a faster pace than other people will help keep her toward the top of the pack more so. I have Tia, Laura, Haley.
You have Tia.
And I think Laura will be fine. I just don't think I'm just not picking her to be top 5
Okay. Who do you have,
or
Bryce?
top 3. Sorry.
Haley, Tia, Alex.
Haley, Tia, Alex. All right. I have Danielle Brandon in third. Let me see who my second is.
People in the comments are saying Jay did take it down, and it wasn't a story.
Oh, that's
Okay.
Well, that's from today that they got to play with the stuff. So I mean, it wouldn't have expired yet.
that's the kind of censorship.
I mean, maybe they told him to take it down.
That's the kind of censorship they have in Europe, fascist Europe. Thank God that's over here. Aren't you glad the censorship's over here?
Back when Rogue was in Texas, they didn't take it down.
Yeah, I like that. Europe. I got Laura, Ariel, Danielle.
I like the aerial pick.
Thank you. You got to pick Danielle's going to be top 3 in something.
Not that one.
All right.
The next
John,
one.
I actually picked her third in the snatch because I trust her overhead position after really anything more so than almost anyone else.
Danielle.
Yep.
I think she'll do well in event 2. The squat I think hurts her. If it was power, I would pick Danielle.
I think she
But-
wins the one coming up though. That's my pick.
I agree as well. You wanna go first, JR?
Okay, event
Yeah,
number
okay.
8, 3 rounds, heavy. Wow, a heavy rope. Rogue is so heavy. Heavy rope. Back to the sear dumbbell. Oh, as soon as you hear sear bell, you know it's heavy.
I wish this was just a regular rope. That way you can't say that. And believe it or not, that heavy rope probably makes the difference in this event.
No, JR will tell us that it's the shoulder position Danielle will have on the dumbbell overhead walking.
No, I think the rope in round 3 will decide who wins this.
Okay. And it's 3 rounds. Heavy rope, double under, 50 single arm sear bell overhead walking lunge. What is that? 50 feet. And then 100 feet handstand walk, 3 rounds. Mr. Howell.
I'm gonna go Danielle, Tia, Laura.
It's been a long week. This is a long weekend. It's event number 8. Let's not rule out Danielle's emotional. She's had a long flight over there, not a lot of sleep, a lot of appointments with the fascist rad regime, and she's going to be emotionally compromised.
I think she's gonna win the event and then take off her rad shoes and show them to the camera, and then flip off the camera.
Who do you have, again, JR? You sure you want to pick her?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Okay, who did you have? Danielle?
Tia, Laura.
Yeah, Laura. And you would pick Haley Adams, but you think the dumbbell is going to fuck her up?
The rope.
Okay.
No, I think she.
Oh
no.
yeah, her double unders at
Dude.
semifinals were
Yeah.
crazy.
No. Yeah, I know what you're saying, but I think that was from that may have been from like a little nagging injury that was going on, or maybe.
Well, she said that it was from an injury. That's what started it, but then it just became a habit,
Okay.
and now that's how she does them.
Oh, you mean she had that arm out like this?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, that was weird. Okay, Bryson.
I'm gonna go Tia, Gabby, and Ariel.
Mr. John.
I'm gonna be a mix of the two. I'm gonna go Danielle Brandon, Tia Toomey, and Ariel Owen.
Who's the second fastest at handstand walk? Haley? Or
Probably Brooke.
Alex?
Brooke. Yeah. She should do good on this one too.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think this one, like the devil press, is gonna be pretty tight. Like I think I talked about this the other night. It's cool they put the handstand walk as the last movement because I think there will be some like races to the finish on the handstand walk, which would be cool.
Which one
But
was the rope climb one?
the one just with the burpees and rope climbs, just
What event was
burpees.
that?
They've been
Yeah,
five.
the one with the 170-pound dumbbell that it's just burpees though. It's just 42 burpees. Just like this one is body weight lunge.
Hey, no, JR's the only one to pick Gabby in event 5.
JR, when you're doing your 100 burpees a day, do you count devil's press?
Yeah,
Thank you, Bryson. Thank
I
you,
do.
thank you, Bryson.
I'm not siding with you on rope.
Because that's actually exactly
Right.
what it is. Only you don't clap the dumbbells at the top like when you clap
Right.
your hands at the top.
Listen, if you don't pee on the toilet seat before me, and then I go in the bathroom after you, and I say thank you to you, maybe you didn't pee on the toilet seat because of me, but I can still say thank you. You ran JR over with the truck, and I'm just saying thank you. Cement truck. Thank you, John. You want a piece? Bryson's here to defend me.
I'm all right. I'm all peed out.
Not a piece.
I don't want that either.
How are Sydney Wells's how's her handstand walking?
Not as good as Brooke, but I'm sure she's fine.
She does that running thing with her legs, right? When she's upside down, you know that thing? Is she the one that does that, like exaggerated running?
I think Trista does that.
Oh, maybe it is Trista. Okay.
Yeah.
I bet Sydney's not great at handstand walking.
Really?
The year Sydney made the games was the pirouette year, correct? With
Yep.
the overhead
Yep.
squat. Okay,
Yep.
because so yeah, we really didn't see her like do any handstand walking for speed.
We didn't see her do any ring muscle ups either.
Let me
Come
ask
on,
you
John.
let me ask you this before I make my decision. This single arm, this single overhead walking lunge with the 70 pounds, are the girls going to do that unbroken? Three rounds for 50 feet?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. It's definitely a shoulder stamina test, a different kind than event 2, but it's for sure a shoulder stamina test. There's some grip mixed in there too, like any kind of overhead static with like pressing into the floor on the handstand walk and then the weighted jump rope. But I think in general, your people who are good at jump rope and also have the most shoulder stamina, that's who you pick.
Oh, I'm picking the same as Bryson without even looking at his cheat sheet. Tia, Gabby, Ariel. Is that who you picked?
Tia, Gabby, Ariel. Yeah.
Yeah, that's who I got. A bunch of us got Ariel. JR's the only one that doesn't have Ariel.
You should thank me again.
All right, thank you, boys. One final thing, by the way, make sure you go over to the Heat 1 app. Very important. Make your bets now. We've told you how to bet. I should have told you about that in the beginning. But before we go, since we're blessed with John Young's presence, I fell asleep. Where are we? Oh, great. Thank you. John, we have 4 tiers. Let me pull the ladies up for you.
Yeah, let's see it. Let's see it.
We have 4 tiers of athletes. I think that there should be 6 tiers. Do you think there should be how many tiers, John?
I would say 4.
Okay. And it's not for this Rogue event, but it's just for a generic event. Just picture, like, imagine if it's Rogue, but we didn't know the workouts.
Okay.
Okay. We have Tia, Laura, and Gabby in tier 1.
I think Tia could probably be a tier by herself. So if you wanted to put 5, you could.
Okay.
I already disagree with the tier 1.
Okay, so let me tell you, in JR and Bryson, correct me, I don't want to misrepresent our group. We all agreed with you, but we decided that if you put Tia in her own tier, you would have to put Laura in her own tier also.
I disagree with the handstand push-up workout.
We're not talking about this competition. We're not even talking about really Rogue. We're just saying we're just saying rank them as CrossFitters.
I think with Laura, every single competition she ever does, if there's deficit handstand push-ups, she's in a different tier. If there's not deficit handstand push-ups, she's in her own tier.
Okay, but listen, John. If there's
That's
4
half the
tiers,
competitions,
right? But if there's 4 tiers, there's 4 tiers. If we were ranking every single CrossFitter in the world and we only put 2 tiers,
I'm fine with 4 tiers.
You would be in the same tier as Matt Frazier in his fucking prime.
I'm fine with 4 tiers.
So we're not. Okay.
I'm not arguing tiers with you. I'm arguing that Laura is not a given tier by herself. I don't like it's a different thing for me.
So
Okay,
We'll go four tiers. So first tier's podium.
But Bryson conflated the issue. So you understand what's going on here. But I do like to hear your opinion on it. You don't think, let's say you could have as many tiers as you wanted, just based on the caliber of these people. You do agree, you don't agree that Laura should have her own tier below Tia?
No, I would put Laura in the podium tier. And now she's probably the top of the podium tier. But any competition, any given competition that has strict deficit handstand push-ups or of just a very hard strict handstand push-up event,
okay,
not free handstanding push-ups.
Okay, let me tell you the situation so you don't have to say
Laura
that.
can get beat.
Right. So let me tell you the situation so you don't have to worry about handstand push-ups. Let's say it's just unknown 10 events. So you're saying
I would have two different lists with Laura.
Because of that vulnerability, Laura will never be in a tier by herself.
Correct. And I would just opt for her to be in the podium tier. She would be at the top. Right.
Okay.
Because she is so good she would be in a league of her own.
Okay. But since we do have 4 tiers, we'll all accept that premise. Tia, Laura, and Gabby.
I would put I probably would put Gazan and Ariel in that tier as well.
Okay, and then we had in the second tier we all agreed that Gazan would be at the top of it, and so at the second tier we have Danielle, Ariel, Rolf, Emma Tall, Gazan, Brooke Wells, Haley Adams, and Amanda Barnhart.
So the second tier I would not have Amanda Barnhart. Second tier I would have Danielle Brandon, Brooke Wells, Emily Rolf, and that's probably it.
Oh, you would have Emily Rolf.
For any given competition, yeah. Emily Rolf is a 7 to 12 person.
How about Emma Tall?
Emma Tall, I put her in there too.
Okay, so the only one you don't agree with is Amanda Barnhart, and I think JR did say she would be in 2 or 3.
He also has ones higher.
I would put Alex Gazan, Ariel Lowen, Laura Horvath, Gabby, all in the same tier.
I'm not even going to argue that.
For any given competition.
I would rather take Laura and Gabby and lower them down if you had to make a change instead of raise those two up and just leave Tia by herself.
It's the same thing. Okay. That's fine. I mean, Tia is like a non-conversation. You can just do whatever you want with that, right? So, but I would name that tier. That's podium tier. These women can podium at any given competition. I would say, and I get it. It has to be a special run for Ariel. It has to be a special run for Alex. Laura would have to have strict deficit handstand push-up, but it's there. It's possible.
Yep.
They had to have the CrossFit, the cardio games for Gabby to a podium. It happened, right? So I would put all of those people in podium tier, and then if you want to put Tia in there or on her own, it's fine, right? I think those women are better than the next tier. I will always rank those women higher than the next tier on any given competition. And then
John,
the next tier.
Go ahead.
Oh, why do you like Emily there in that next tier, but not Haley?
Oh, you can put Haley there. I just didn't name Haley. I'd put Haley there, 100%. And then the next tier would be Danielle Brandon, Brooke Wells, Haley Adams, Emma Tall, Emily Rolf, and in that tier I'd put top 10. These women at any given point should be in the top 10. Could be in the top 10, right?
Hey, and then the only reason why you wouldn't put Haley Adams up there,
I'd put her in that tier.
No, the only reason why you wouldn't put her in the top tier, the number 1 tier, is because similar to Laura has this gaping hole. Haley also has this hole, but it just comes up more frequently.
Sure, but yes, but for Haley's never podium, and I don't think she ever will.
Because of that, because of just the strength.
Yeah. I mean, strength is one tier of the whole system. Laura's one movement.
Right.
Haley's one pillar.
Well said, dude.
And then the next tier is
Laura has a hole in her gymnastics. Haley has a hole in her strength. And one component of her gymnastics, right?
Right.
It would be like if Haley just couldn't front squat to save her life.
Gazan can't snatch. But she's filthy at everything else.
Are you saying that just because she had one bad snatch event?
No, she's traditionally been bad at snatch.
It's also self-admitted.
It's hurt her in multiple competitions. I think she's better than what she's put forth in competition.
Yeah.
But it's happened in multiple competitions, right? Yeah. Taylor can't squat. but he can snatch. Like, it's not like it's just you have certain holes in certain things, but Haley, it's everything. It's everything in that, right? Laura's just one movement. Alex is one movement. Haley is everything.
Okay, and then tier 3, Emma McQuaid, Maddie Sturt, Danny Spiegel, Paige Semenza, Manon Anganese, and Taylor Williamson.
I'm scroll down so I can see everybody. And Barnhart.
Oh shit! Hold on. Okay, so you moved Barnhart down to 3. Emma McQuaid, Maddie Sturt, Taylor Williamson, Danny Spiegel, Paige Semenza, Manon Anganese.
Yeah, I mean, I'm good with that.
And then this one trips me out a little. Sydney Wells, Taylor Howe, and Paran.
Yeah, if you want to put Sydney in tier 3, it wouldn't bother me. But I get tier 4 too. Like that's just, you know.
Who's a better CrossFitter, Sydney Wells or Maddie Sturt?
Maddie Sturt, hands down.
Yeah.
Not close.
JR, you agree?
Yeah.
Maddie's closer to Brooke than she is Sydney.
Who's a better CrossFitter, Sydney Wells or Manon Anganese?
Manon.
I would probably say Manon Anganese. But that's a worthwhile comparison.
Like that'd be fun to see. At for a quarterfinals live event.
I mean, it would be the luck of the draw in the events.
Right. Totally different athletes.
Yeah, what I think is really cool too is that of all the people on this list, I mean, we've seen them compete in the last year live. Have not seen Sydney because she didn't compete at semifinals this year. So it's cool that she's even in this field, and it's been a long time. So we'll get to see a lot of maybe the things that she wasn't as good at to see how much better she's gotten at them.
And Sydney's super fit, but she's just not at the level of a lot of these girls. You know, she's a poor woman's Brooke Wells. That's what she is.
All right. Thank you, guys. I don't think you guys want to be on for this next bit. Maybe you do, Bryson.
Oh, is it going to get a little live call-in-esque?
That's my cue. Sevon likes to give me heads up.
Good night, JR. Thank you so much for coming on. Appreciate you, brother. It's going to be short and sweet. John, would you like to stick around for I'm going to do a reading of a post from a figure in the CrossFit space.
I'm sticking around if I'm allowed.
I'm probably signing off on that, man.
All right, have a good one.
Sorry. Yeah.
All right.
Thank you for having me, Sevon. I'm sorry I was late.
No, good. I know you have other duties. Thank you. Bye-bye. Okay. JR is frozen. I can't even kick him off. I'll just remove him. This is from the CEO of RAD. I remind you what I know about this guy. I'll tell you what I know about this guy. I've heard this guy is very kind and cool and a great guest on podcasts. I heard he's very polite, a gentleman. And I've never met the guy, or if I have, I don't remember ever meeting him. And then I also saw, and then basically he was complaining. I think that's fair to say. I think that's a rather objective. My next, he popped on the scene because he was complaining that he couldn't sell shoes at Wadapalooza, and he was blaming that because Tier was the primary sponsor of Wadapalooza, and he was crying. Oh, thank you, Barry.
I think he was using it as a marketing tool.
If that's
leaning
fine.
into it, I would say.
That's fine. People were like, Sevon, you don't understand. It's a marketing tool. Well, if you're that's fine too. That doesn't
right.
change my.
Both are true. Both can be
both
true.
Are true. Right. Yeah, you can be paleo zone all day. And he was whining and complaining vociferously that Tier was the big bad bully and they weren't letting him sell shoes at the event, which is very common practice. If you're the main sponsor, if you're giving fucking Wadapalooza $500,000 and you're a shoe company, you're going to say, hey, I don't want other people selling shoes in the vendor village. It makes perfect fucking sense. And he wouldn't drop it. He just kept crying and whining like a little bitch and playing the victim. And when Tier is not a big company, I think they're a $30 million company. They're not some gigantic fucking overlord. It's a family-run operation. It's been
They're
around.
not an overlord in the CrossFit space, but they've had their swimming thing going on for a while.
Yeah, they've been. They have the original owners, and they've been around for a fucking long time. And the guy has busted his ass.
Yeah.
And the guy's been around for 30 or 40 years.
It's like, hey, you could have paid Wadapalooza $500,000, and then no one would sell anything but rads at Wadapalooza.
Okay, very common practice. So this is what he wrote. This is fascinating to me. I watched 4 videos today defining what fascists are, and all 4 videos conflate it with like you don't need to think of it as it's like there's things that define what a cake is, right? Versus a cupcake versus a donut.
Right.
But but if you start it by saying all of these videos would start with when they define fascist, it's something that you eat at birthday parties, like not relevant to the definition, not even true, just purely subjective, right?
Right.
I mean, you do, but it's not a defining characteristic of a cake.
Right.
And so when you look up the definition of fascist, if they start off by saying it's only found in the left or it's only found in the right, that's not even relevant at all. Not even remotely, because you don't find only cakes at bakeries, or I mean, you can find
you don't only eat them at birthday parties.
Yeah, you don't only eat them at birthday parties. Okay, so feel free to look up the term fascist, but I'll give you the cornerstones is to divide your society by class or race, right? So black people, white people, Jews, Hispanics. It's to promote the division by of your society by class or race, and then to treat them differently based on that. That's a cornerstone of it. Then the next cornerstone is to control the media, media censorship. So it's to take away individual rights and give them to groups, and then it's to control the media. And then it's to not be afraid to use the authority of the person in power to use that authority to get rid of people you don't like, to dethrone them, fire them from jobs, kick them off media, put them in jail. So it's to use lawfare. Those are the 3 elements of fascism. No, the problem is, Jonathan, you might get it, but most people don't get it. Most people think like it's about hating Jews, or like it has nothing to do with that. It has nothing to do with hating Jews. Most people do not understand at all what fascism is. Fascism keeps people in the country. It's not about it's about locking down your border so that people don't get out. Like North Korea versus the United States. We're allowed to leave freely. Bryson, please put WD-40 on your chair. Okay, here we go. This is from the owner of Rad Shoes. Trump will win the White House. The GOP, the Grand Old Party, has control of the Senate. This is gutting, yes, but freeing too. We get to make every day over the next 4 years hell for fascists. Misogynists, bigots, and liars. This is not the time to shrink, nor the time to despair. By the way, so the type of things that happen in fascist regimes are lockdowns in your houses, mandated drugs, who can and can't go to restaurants or to schools, or and it's also one of the primary things that they do is they take control of your kids. This is the time for that classic Disney, larger than life, kind of gay, and possibly well-dressed, unbelievably cool villainy, that punk rock, black parade, guerrilla shit. This is our villain era. Make art, fuck shit up, build power. They're about to learn that the hardest thing about gaining power is keeping it.
What the fuck?
I had 2 liberal friends. They both have kids who are in the school system. They're both under the age of 12. I spoke to them today, and I asked them about this. that they were completely oblivious about. Medical records, kids 12.
You still think Danielle voted for Trump?
I do. She doesn't care. I mean, she's perfectly, she's perfectly okay. It's fascinating that the fascist regime, like yesterday was a freedom, like people who realized that we were under the fascist regime and felt their squeeze on them, like people like us who said that exercise. We had our YouTube station pulled down because we said exercise and food is the best way to hedge against disease. Or because I asked about menstrual cycles and hormonal birth control, and there was a hit piece put on me by the New York Times, and the things that happened to Jay Bhattacharya, who is a liberal for working at Stanford, a doctor and a PhD in economics, and he said, "Hey, I think there's already herd immunity." He said that in 2001, in 2020. It's wild, but this is the kind of shit that fascists do. Now listen. In California, minors 12 and older have the right to privacy regarding their medical information, which limits the access parents and guardians have to their child's medical records. This is going on in California right now. Someone told me it's going on in Illinois, Oregon, and Washington. Proxy access for the parents and guardians is automatically revoked when a child turns 12. And then they conflate 12-year-olds with teens, the word teens. And a 12-year-old isn't a teen. Teens can discuss their health with their provider in private without a parent present. This is especially true for sensitive services such as substance abuse counseling, testing for sexually transmitted diseases, and family planning. If you actually read the law, one of the things that they can do is they can give out-service medical help for mental health. And that is the prescription of hormone blockers. This is fucking California, people. And this fucking shoe cobbler thinks these are the things that are gonna come to a halt under this new fascist regime. This shoe cobbler thinks, I mean, he uses the word. I promise you, he has no idea what the word means. We've never had greater censorship. If you want to hear an incredible explanation of what's going on, feel free to go over to Michael Schellenberg's Instagram account. And what's crazy is that this dude thinks he's working in the free markets. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens to him when he puts this kind of shit out. This guy, Schellenberger, he is a liberal. He exposed the FBI for censorship, and of course the establishment fucking destroyed him. What's happening, and I know most of you know this, is the establishment has come down crazy. It is flipping out, right? Because they lost control. And we're at 20 million votes less than last year were cast. Just think about that.
Yeah.
Really think there were 20 million less votes cast this year than last year?
I don't see how that could be possible.
How is that possible? Follow Michael Schellenberger, and then go ahead and click this. I'll give you a little bit of taste of it, but here we go.
Kamala Harris are reacting with shock, sadness, and anger at the election results. They're asking themselves why so many Latinos, Gen Xers, men and women not only voted the way they did, but also why so many of us feel enormous relief at Trump's historic victory. But do they really not understand? Or do they not want to understand? After all, over the last decade, many of us who have moved away from the left have been explaining our concerns at length. We didn't appreciate being told we were bigots for not wanting to defund the police, open the borders, or mandate racial quotas. We didn't enjoy being called phobic for not wanting doctors to experiment on children with pseudoscientific transgender medicine. And we didn't like being labeled conspiracy theorists for asking hard questions about COVID policies or why the FBI, CIA, and Department of Homeland Security were involved in mass censorship. And we're not suggesting that those were the only reasons most voters or swing voters voted for Trump. Polls indicate that the top issues were the economy, migration, But elections are won on the margins, and what made the difference between 2020 and 2024 was the defection of so many traditionally Democratic voters to Trump and the Republicans. And many of those who defected were, like us, alienated by the transformation of the Democratic Party into a mob of woke scolds and persecutors. Trump gained unprecedented ground across the electorate, disrupting Democrats' hold on Black, Latino, and Muslim voters in key areas. Even young people, and especially young men, swung to the right. Trump won over large segments of the working class, while Harris improved over Joe Biden with high-income voters, college-educated white women, and white people in general. These results are nothing short of a massive political realignment that should put to bed once and for all the corrosive myth that Trump's coalition is driven by white supremacy or fascism. Through the democratic process, voters have resoundingly rejected elites' favored narratives about race, class, and immigration.
There's no division by race or class or ethnicity or religion coming from Trump. The only division is the division by the imaginary line that makes the United States border. It's what every single country does.
And so if anybody really wants to understand why so many of us, even if we have our criticisms of Trump, feel relief and vindication as victory, they need to consider that it has more to do with the repudiation of totalitarianism than with Trump as a person or even his policies. Wokeism, or whatever you want to call it, progressivism, identity politics, radical leftism, has been rampaging through society for roughly the last decade. And those of us who have been stigmatized and ostracized by it feel like we can finally breathe again. What we're experiencing is known as catharsis, which comes from the Greek word for cleanse or purge. In Greek tragedy, the audience experiences catharsis when it feels a release of negative emotions and a sense of renewal. Many of us who have felt persecuted for our views, even in small ways, such as not feeling comfortable expressing our true feelings with friends and family, we now feel freer to speak our minds. After all, the majority is with us. Our views are normal, mainstream, and common sense. As Democrats weaponize the government and justice system, attempting to keep Trump off the ballot and put him in prison, we identified not with Trump, the Republican, or the businessman, or the former president even, but rather with Trump, the wrongly accused. At bottom, he was being persecuted by the same totalitarian forces that had been rampaging through society for a decade. Sometime between Occupy Wall Street in 2011 and the first Black Lives Matter protests in 2013, seemingly normal liberals and Democrats started to lose their minds. Everything became racist. Everything became suspicious. Nothing was more suspicious than not agreeing 100% with the official woke Democratic agenda. Trump's election put wokeism on steroids. Suddenly, a word that in the past only extreme radical leftists had used to describe a Republican president, fascist, was now being used by very serious people like the New York Times columnists, establishment Democrats, and the previously sober foreign policy establishment. It was between 2016 and 2020 that wokeism not only completed, but intensified its grip on every major institution in society, from news and entertainment media to schools and universities. These institutions encouraged and participated in the mass condemnation and cancellation of heretics, which became known as the Great Awakening and was really a new witch hunt. Ordinary and otherwise decent people behaved cruelly. They accused people they had known for years or decades of bigotry or racism, or of wanting to genocide trans people, or wanting millions to die from COVID. Diverging from progressive orthodoxy in any way became enough for people to not only end friendships, but to insist that the transgressors be ostracized and excommunicated. Those who had made a great show of being courageously open-minded and tolerant became intolerant, incurious, and cowardly. We were asked to pretend that the people carrying the pitchforks and torches to go witch hunting were in fact well-intentioned and just cared a lot more than the rest of us. They didn't. Behind the totalitarianism were individuals who had given into base motives like hedonism, envy, dogmatism, self-righteousness, prejudice, snobbery, psychopathy, and even sadism. There are many underlying causes of the totalitarian Great Awakening. The growing distance between educated elites and working people, the rise of narcissism, psychopathy, and other cluster B personality traits like entitlement and grandiosity, the ways in which the social media dehumanizes people and normalizes behaviors that would seem psychopathic in real life. The anxiety induced by social media's fishbowl effect, where our natural fears of social disapproval are magnified to a degree we were never evolved for. The counter-populist reaction from the deep state foreign policy establishment to a populist American.
If you don't follow Schellenberg, you should. He's a brilliant guy. He was persecuted. He's part of releasing the Twitter files. Him and Talibi, they exposed the FBI for censorship here in the United States. This is the great censorship that the left believes is needed to save democracy. The fact that you think if you get rid of freedom of speech, you have to remember democracy is then just a ruse. There is freedom of speech is far more important than democracy. You can't preserve a democracy without freedom of speech. This is just you don't understand the hierarchy, the pyramid, and it's truly embarrassing. That post from Ben Massey from Rad is disturbing. It's very disturbing. Go ahead.
Well, I think the post that you pulled up with Greg earlier, where you had those reporters right when he was getting off, and they had those reporters that were like, "Oh, this is because of black men and Hispanic men that have turned on us, and this is because of you." It's like these liberals are spiraling now because they've spent all this time trying to like virtue signal and justify why we have to separate things and make things different for people based on color, and it's going to help them and all this stuff. And now, people of color are realizing like, hey, we just want to live our life and not have all these restrictions on everything we do. The censorship that we're talking about, basically segregation,
segregation. Yeah.
And people are starting to realize it. So then they vote accordingly. And, people don't know what to do. Those news reporters basically saying that, it's black men and Hispanic men's fault for being misogynistic.
These are the same organizations that 4 years ago were saying Black Lives Matter. And now they're saying that they said that black men are stupid and Hispanic men are stupid and they're misogynistic. And what's their explanation? The same explanation that Taylor Swift gave in the documentary, that they're men. That's the only explanation. But now the left has added that they're black men and Hispanic men. So not only before Hispanic men and black men got a pass, it was just men who were misogynistic just because of the fact that we had a penis. But now it's also your skin color. It is absolutely fucking wild. And
I got called
cornerstones of fascism. You have to divide the society by class. And that's what they're doing. No one cares. No one cares if you're a tranny or if you're gay or if you're black or like no one on the right cares. No one cares. No one gives a fuck.
I think the censorship is honestly, I think with the election going the way it did, hopefully the biggest difference that we'll notice immediately is maybe the censorship, or at least that's what I'm hoping for. I got called tinfoil hat the other day because I brought up the fact that one of your shows got pulled down because of talking about water polo and, the leading cause of water polo today.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It did get pulled down because of that. They actually showed me the clip. I was reading the AP article from 2019 and my show got pulled down. My friend said it, my friends who have these kids who are under 12 told me I was out of my fucking mind, but I know it's happening because my friends who have kids who are turning 12 are getting letters from the state saying you now no longer have access to your kids' medical records.
Dude, and Susan said this the other day.
Yeah, it's fucking
but people
shit.
Yeah, the whole like gender dysphoria and like the schools being able to affirm that and not tell the parents and stuff is 100% just a vehicle to get the government in between parents and their kids. 100%. They don't give a fuck about gender dysphoria.
So can I draw the conclusion that Ben Massey thinks that that's okay for the government to get between your kids and the parents at the age of 12, and that the kids should be allowed to start taking hormonal medications that are irreversible?
It's either that or he's just ignorant. But he doesn't even live here.
Well, he lives in a socialist country. I think he lives in Europe, right?
Yeah.
and we know, and if he lives in the UK, we already know what they're doing. They're removing people. They're letting pedophiles and rapists out of jail and putting in people who wrote things on social media that were perceived.
Hey, they're minor attracted persons, bro.
Yeah. Sorry, my bad. It's absolutely insane. Also, those of you who may not know, but there's mounting evidence that Scott Presser, look at who is deplatformed and who is gay. Deplatformed and gay. Scott Presser organized the Amish people in Pennsylvania. And I'm reading different accounts, but he registered between 80,000. He started a movement that registered between 80,000 and 150,000 Amish people in Pennsylvania, and they all voted for Trump. And why did they vote for Trump? Because the Biden administration went onto Amish farms and started stopping them, prohibiting them from producing non-pasteurized milk, raw milk.
Yeah.
And prior to that, they hadn't been a voting bloc, and now they are, because you took away their rights.
Yeah, because if people stop eating processed foods and stop shooting their kids up with chemicals from the first day that they're born, then they're not going to have all these mental issues that they have to rely on medicines for. And, they need them to keep eating processed food and keep getting these injections and stuff that are just going to keep them retarded.
For those of you who were, I know many of you felt a relief today after 4 years of truly being under something that was more akin to fascism or totalitarianism. I felt relief today. Congratulations. Today was a crazy, amazing day. My wife said that she was walking around New Leaf with a little pep in her step, or Whole Foods. And then she realized as she walked out that she was walking amongst zombies. I understand it is scary for them. But nothing's going to happen to you. You're free. All you're feeling is freedom. And the nanny state moved away at a distance. You're also the same people that yelled at us for not standing 6 feet away from you, for not fucking having our mask on tight. You're the same people who keep all of our kids who aren't injected with government mandated drugs in schools. So.
Did you read that Turtles All the Way Down book that Taylor recommended to you?
I haven't read that yet. I'm going to read it, though. I'm going to listen to it.
I haven't finished it yet, but it literally, like, Turtles All the Way Down is the best way to describe it. Like, just the fact every, jab is tested on its safety based on another jab. Like, there's no true placebos, which would be way less expensive to do, way more ethical, and actually, let you know if the vaccine is causing any health issues. And it's crazy. And it's all public record. Like, but people just don't want to look at it.
Yeah, I know. People don't want to look at it. If you read the book, and there's no studies that show simultaneous exposures, no studies. And yet one of my friends' kid got tetanus, and you can't get a single tetanus shot by itself, and had to take three simultaneous drugs in order to get the tetanus. But there's no studies for that either. There's not a single study that's testing multiple injections. The whole thing is fucking maddening.
Yeah.
But the censorship is the real thing that we got to get away from. Also, if you didn't see what RFK posted today, let me read it to you. It's man, it's such a breath of fresh air. And this, unfortunately, this is the kind of stuff that's scaring people, even though it's amazing. Let's see if I can find it.
While you're looking for that, this is a coffee shop that Maris goes to a decent amount. They just posted this today. If you need a safe place to cry and grieve this new reality, we are open and you are welcome to stay as long as needed, with a broken heart emoji.
From Robert F. Kennedy, FDA's war on public health is about to end. It's a war because it's captured. You should know all of the agencies have been captured. That term captured means is they get their funding from Johnson & Johnson, Nestle's. They're all captured. They get the majority of their budgets from there. And there's people inside of there who are government employees who have lifetime royalties from things that they help develop. FDA's war on public health is about to end. This includes its aggressive suppression of psychedelics, peptides, stem cells, raw milk, hyperbaric therapies, chelating compounds, ivermectin, hydrochloroquine, vitamins, clean foods, sunshine, exercise, nutraceuticals, pharmaceuticals, and anything else that advances human health and can't be patented by pharma. If you work for the FDA and are part of this corrupt system, I have 2 messages for you today. Preserve your records and pack your bags.
That's sick.
It is sick. And for those of you who are scared, who are liberals, who are freaking out, don't worry. All the fucking people they're going to replace those people with are fucking liberals from academia who've been ostracized and forced to shut their fucking mouths, like Jay Bhattacharya, John Ioannidis, RFK. It's not. You don't have to worry. It's not going to be any gun-toting fucking white supremacists. They're going to harvest fucking libtards who've been fucking tied down and held in the basement. All right, guys. Welcome to reality. Not the new reality, just welcome to reality. Love you guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. On the 8th, we have Bear Hanlon coming on. I think he's got some big announcements to make. We'll be doing the show tomorrow night, ranking the men, the top 3 men. And then Friday, getting up early in the morning to check out Rogue. And if you're bummed that fluoride is going to be taken out of your water, don't worry. You can still purchase it. By the way, if you have any questions about fluoride, just Google and go to YouTube and type in origins of fluoride. You will never use fluoride in your mouth ever again. Love you guys. Thank you, Sevon. You're welcome. Hernan. Bye, guys. Bye-bye. Thanks.